So I really like the way it's told. I think the audience will feel frustrated. And then I also love the fact that you really don't know until much later on why Elliot is doing what he's doing. Hi, Tommy.
Hey, how you doing, Ann?
Not too bad. How are you?
Really good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, listen, no, it's lovely to chat to you.
All right, if it's okay with you, I'm just gonna get started.
Cool.
All right. Allen, we have seen different things, and when we see the trailers and they tell us about this series, it looks like nothing of how I imagine you in your real life. How does it feel to portray a character so different from yourself? I imagine playing like evil characters can be fun, but I also imagine it's super difficult.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's one of the gifts of acting is the fact that you get to kind of delve into the mindset and the personality of people that are very different from you. This character certainly was, and it's always trying to find that balance of playing someone who obviously has, maybe malevolent ideas of what he wants to get up to, but also not wanting to be too obvious to the audience too early. And that was between myself and Megan Fox, the director, as well, that we kind of came up with playing him to a point that he has to be quite alluring, but then you have to have a certain unease around him as well. And that was a lot of, as you said, it's a lot of fun to play, but then, it's good to be able to switch off and go back to your normal.
Well, talking about that, how do you unwind after playing such an intense and devilish character?
I mean, when I was filming, we filmed this actually in Dublin, even though it's set in the UK. We shot it in Ireland. And the whole time I was on quite a rigid training schedule, mainly for that shower scene that I have in it. I don't know if you've seen that, but so when I finally finished, I mean, I got to come back here. I live in Los Angeles, so I got to come back here, and I've got two young girls, two kids. So I kind of unwind by realizing that, life's good.
Realizing that you are not a psycho.
Exactly, yeah, that my children they haven't eaten.
What attracted you to this role in Captivated? Was there something specific about the character or the story or something?
I really like the idea, as I said, of kind of playing a character that the audience is unsure of up until a certain point. And even when you start to get little, I suppose, opportunities to see into what he really is like, that still you're not exactly sure. And playing that kind of the duality of the psychopath and, this charming, rich guy who's, kind of offering the world to this woman and her son. And I really like playing that idea. And then I love any opportunity to go home and work with an Irish crew and Irish cast. So I kind of jumped at the opportunity, and I have to say it was a lovely filming experience. Really cool.
Does it feel different working with people that you feel related to?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been really proud. I started obviously in Ireland, so having the opportunity to work with Irish crews is always, I feel very special. I feel very comfortable. I think they're some of the best in the world, and any opportunity to kind of highlight their level of skill is also a great opportunity for me. And then, my parents still live at home, so any chance I get to go home, and if I can get paid for it at the same time, why not?
I imagine. Is it different to work like for a long-running series than starting a new series? And it's also not, it doesn't have like too many episodes, which I think is super cool. But does it feel different from your actor's perspective? Like you have to engage in a different way, or you have to be super sure about what you're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I did a show for a long time called Downton Abbey, and there's a certain understanding after like 2 or 3 seasons, that character so well that it's kind of a feeling of putting on an old pair of shoes, that it's almost like something, there's a comfort in it. And then when you have a new character, you have to be much more focused in, because you're still creating them. And as you said, there's 4 episodes in Captivated, so you have to get this character across much quicker. It's you don't have the luxury of time. and that's something that you certainly become much more aware of when you're playing something in a much shorter series. And there's an intensity to filming something that's shorter as well, you know? So it's very different. And I just came back from doing the third Downton movie. And again, you know, I got to put those shoes on again. And I can promise you it feels like I just know this guy so well. So it's very different.
I have to ask you this. What do you think makes Captivated a series so different from what we are used to?
I think the way that it's shot and the way that the story is told, there's a certain level of frustration you feel as an audience member because you don't quite understand why Rachel's so prepared to go into this. But then the understanding of like coming from what she's coming from, this just seems, you know, like it's a dream come true. So I really like the way it's told. I think the audience will feel frustrated. And then I also love the fact that you really don't know until much later on why Elliot is doing what he's doing. And I think that's quite interesting too. So I think it's a slightly different way of storytelling.
It's awesome. This is more like a personal question. We've seen you in different roles, doing different stuff with characters that are really different from each apart, and they have like their own personal world. Is there a role type that you would like to act in the future? Is there something like you say, like, I don't know, I like to be a badass. I would like to be a badass. I would love to be, I don't know, a surgeon, whatever.
I mean, it's funny you asked that because the last couple of jobs I've done, I've played, you know, a bit of a psychopath and a serial killer in another one. And now that I'm a father of two, I genuinely don't want to play those roles anymore. You know, I feel that I'd much prefer to do, I'd love to do a romantic comedy or something like that. That'd be next. There's an opportunity maybe to go and do a job in Europe where it's very much a feel-good thing. And I think I'm at the stage, you know, and I've as I said, I've got two young girls that I'm like, I want to do things that I don't walk away from going, I need to have a shower for a week. So I'd like to do things that are slightly more uplifting and positive.
Awesome. This is my final question. Thanks again for having me. Sorry for my broken English.
No, it's a lot better than any attempt at make Spanish. So like
because I have it written down so I can read it. It's easier for me.
Oh no, your English is fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. What do you expect people take from Captivated? Because of course it's a story that goes to, I don't want to say to some streams, but it's an intense story, but it's also kind of a real life story. Like we know people that grooms other people, we know people that we don't know their true intentions. So what would you like people to take from this series?
I think I hope people ultimately are entertained. You know, at the end of the day, it is a fictional story, but there is a question that people can leave, you know, about people's intentions. And as you say, in the modern world where certainly disparity of wealth as well is something that I think comes into it. The fact that, you know, it can look very inviting to go to a world that seems more comfortable, but the chances are it probably isn't. And the reasons that it looks better. It's a bit like Instagram as well, you know? The life on Instagram looks perfect, but then have you ever watched those people who take the selfie and then their face just drops? You know, you're like, I see that photo. So I kind of think, yeah, it's good. It's a good, I hope the audience walk away questioning what they see as reality.
Allen, thank you so much. You're great.
Thank you. That's very nice. You're great too. And I love your headphones. They're very cool.
Oh, thank you. They're pink.